Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our press conference with Louisville student athletes Jada Curry and Tijana Roberts. Just as a reminder, please keep your cell phone silent. If there is anyone on Zoom has a question, please use the raise your hand utility, and if there's time available, we'll get to those. Otherwise, we'll open up questions to the student athletes. If you have a question, just raise your hand. We'll have a mic brought to you. And just please give us your name and your media affiliation, and then ask your question with the mic.
I'll just get it started. Stephen Hawkins with the Associated Press. Just talk about kind of the reset you guys have had a chance to have over the last couple of weeks since the tournament, and just kind of where your mindset is going into this NCAA and the opponent you're playing.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good week of practice. I think we focused a lot on our defense and cleaning things up on offense. But I think we're just excited, just knowing that, the tougher, more excited team wins in March, and just focusing on each game and taking it game by game, knowing, when you lose, you're done. So that sense of urgency was definitely there this past week for us. So we feel good and we're confident in a really good spot.
I think this week was big for us. It's kind of like a reset because it's a new season, so everybody's 0-0, nobody's won, nobody's lost. So the biggest thing is just to look forward and focus on one game at a time, and just stay consistent with ourselves and, what we want to do as a team.
Alexis Cupid, Louisville Courier Journal. Jada, last year was your first NCAA tournament. Obviously didn't end the way, you wanted to. Louisville's first time losing the first round. Olivia talked about just what that meant to her. How much has that fueled you, and how much does that kind of stick in the back of your mind going into tomorrow's game?
Yeah, I think even for the people that weren't here last year, they kind of feel it from us who were here last year. Like, we don't want that same feeling. It sucked going home in the first round. Like you said, it was the first time ever for Louisville. So being a part of that, it wasn't a great feeling. And we're just doing everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen this year. But again, just focusing in, on our last week, how we just talked about, we're just really confident in ourselves and the work we put in. So we're confident going into this game for sure.
Tosh, for you, you talked a little bit about it, but for your first tournament, you obviously had the ACC tournament to kind of get ready, but maybe what do you take from that kind of environment to prepare for the NCAA tournament?
For me, for my first time, it's very exciting. This is an opportunity that I've seen on TV, just watching as a kid. So just being able to be in here, just relish in the moment, stay content and stay where my feet are, and, just kind of take what I've learned throughout the season and just continue to grow on it, continue to listen to my coaches, stay with what we know, and, just learn from each and every moment in each game.
Brent from the Lincoln newspaper. Jada, when the coaches gave you the intro on Nebraska, what did they tell you you'd have to do really well to beat Nebraska?
Yeah, I mean, they're a really good team. The Big Ten, we just talked about it, walking in here, we have the most teams at any conference in the tournament. So we know how good they are. They've made the tournament. Just watching their film, they play with great pace. They move the ball well on offense. They have a good post presence as well. So it's going to take a lot of things. We got to control the glass. We got to push tempo, and our defensive pressure has to be really high. And something that we have to be consistent with throughout the whole 40 minutes, and not just the first half or just the second half. We got to be able to put a full 40 minutes together.
Matt Coatney, Huskers Radio Network. Looking at Taj, and I'm looking at 8 freshmen on this team. Jada, how do you think the freshmen are playing now compared to earlier in the season, and how much of an impact have they had in getting you guys to where you want to be this time of the year?
Yeah, I was talking with Coach AB a couple months ago on how we're talking about February is freshman February. They've grown so much from the beginning of the year, and we're only going to go as far as they go. They're the majority of our team, but regardless, they're talented. They work hard, and it's been cool to see them grow from the summer to now. They're just IQ-wise a lot better, even skill-wise they've grown. So it's been fun, and I'm just excited to see them on this big stage. I know they're going to handle it well. So yeah, it's exciting.
Jada, for you, you're not a freshman, but it seems like you've grown so much as far as just kind of coming into your own this season. You talked about just obviously the summertime prep work and stuff like that, but just where do you feel like you are mentally and game-wise?
Yeah, just a lot more confident. I think last year I talked about it a lot was a big transition period for me, and I went through the ups and downs of that. this year, still has this ups and downs, but I think I grew more as a leader as a senior and things of that nature. Skill-wise, always trying to get better in that department, but I think mentally, like you said, for me was the biggest area of growth, and something that I felt like I worked on from last year, and it's shown that it's improved a lot this year.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Well, ladies, thank you for your time, and good luck for tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks again for being here, everyone. We've got Louisville head coach, Coach Walz. Just again, if you need to ask a question, raise your hand. We'll get the mic to you, and please give us your name and media affiliation. With that, we will open it up to questions.
Sounds perfect. Thank you all.
Brent from the Lincoln Journal-Star. With Nebraska center Alexis Markowski, when you've seen her have her best games, what's she doing for Nebraska?
Everything. Scores, defends, she rebounds the basketball. She's just really impressive. I remember her as a freshman when they came and played at our place in 22. And she had a really good game against Gonzaga in that first round. And that's back before the transfer portal was open, or I would have handed her business cards and offered her money. I mean, you can do all that stuff now. So unfortunately, she's just a few years too old. But yeah, I mean, great player. I was actually there when her dad played, and he was a really good player as well.
Matt Coatney, Huskers Radio Network. Jeff, you 8 freshmen this year, and that's got to be kind of difficult getting all those people merged into your culture. How have they done this year, and how different are they now in March than back when practice started in October?
Yeah, it's a great group. I'll say that. I mean, I think anybody can tell you from watching us back in November to now, we've grown as a team. We've gotten a lot better. Our freshmen have, had some ups and downs, but I think they're playing a lot more consistent right now for us. Taj has had a fantastic year from start to finish, and she's just one that I've always said I just think it started off slow for her in the terms of being able to process it. It wasn't going 90 miles an hour, and you're trying to get a feel for it. That first game, she handled it well. And I think with the success she had over in Paris, it's just continued throughout the year. And what's been so impressive for me is, as a freshman playing the minutes that she played, normally, there's a week or 2 or 3 that you struggle some, and it's like you get tired, you get beat up, and she's never had that. So, and she's started every game and played in every single game, so it's not like she had a week off, sprained ankle or anything like that. And then the rest of them have continued to grow. I mean, our Clemson game with playing without Jada and Riss in the first round of the conference tournament, we had 4 freshmen on the floor 50% of the time, and in a game that goes overtime. So it's not like they were out there playing with a 20-point lead and you're not worried about it. No, it mattered. So they've all got a lot of experience, and hopefully they're able to carry that over to our game tomorrow night.
Jeff, Stephen Hawkins with the AP. If I read it right, your first year as an assistant in Nebraska was Amy's senior year?
Yes.
So did you see something in her maybe then that you saw maybe she could be a coach one day, and just talk about your relationship maybe that you have with her?
Amy's great. I'd still be willing to bet that she'd win a horse game with anybody on her team right now. It was my first year, our first year as a staff, and we came in and inherited a really good group of kids, some talented players. Anna DeForge, was the best player in the team at that point in time, and went to an NCAA tournament that first year. Amy's been around basketball her entire life. Coaching is part of the family, and it has not surprised me that she has had the success every place she's been. She understands the game. Her teams are very well prepared. I've been very impressed as I've watched her from afar as well. She makes good in-game adjustments. She has a good feel of, when to get someone in the game, when to get someone out of the game. And I've just been really impressed. So I'm expecting a great game tomorrow, and excited for her because she is not only a good coach, but a really good person.
Amy Just with the Lincoln Journal Star. Back to freshmen for a second. Nebraska has a couple, including Britt Prince, their starting point guard. Just what do you see when you're watching her film?
Britt's a fantastic player. I mean, we recruited her hard. I flew out there with my wife and I went and watched her play. Happened to be the same day our volleyball team was playing in the Final Four. So it worked out great for me. Had a chance to go watch a high school game and then go cheer on our volleyball team. She's been special. I mean, all throughout her high school career, her AAU ball, she has a really good flair for the game, understanding of the game. She's fun to watch. She's her signature. She plays with her hair down. Our first goal is we've got 2 kids with a pair of scissors. When the tip goes up, we're just going to cut and see if it throws her off. That's one thing I've not seen anybody try yet. So we're going to see if it works for us tomorrow. You have to think outside the box, and we're trying to. But it's neat. I mean, she's a great kid. I mean, she was great to talk to on the phone, and fun to watch. She's really, really good.
Alexis Cupid, Louisville Courier-Journal. Jeff, when it comes to Jada, I mean, obviously you've talked about how you have to give her the green light or just how much you encourage her to shoot. This year in particular, with how much she's kind of come into and grown, I mean, is this the kind of player that you've seen her all along to be, or do you feel like she still has another level to her game?
Well, I mean, I think she's got a chance to continue to improve. There's no question about it. But it just got to a point where, as I tell her, for a year and a half, I'd be begging her to shoot the ball. Okay, I'm like, please shoot. And I keep telling her, no coach that I've ever had to tell me to shoot. They would be pleading for me to stop. And I finally, our Virginia game is where I just told her, if you pass up a shot, I'm taking you out of the game, and I don't care if it's in the first minute of the game, and you will not go back in. You can just sit by me for the rest of the year. And she was like, damn, he's serious. And we came out, and if you go back, she hit her first 2 shots, both threes. They called a timeout because I think we went on like a 10-0 run. They come over to the bench, and I'm like, damn, Jada, I'm a genius. I'm not paid enough. Like, it's not that hard. And now she's finally understanding why put in all this time and work that she has. Because she works on her game. She works on her craft. She's got a beautiful shot. She handles the ball well. Now it's time to go out and be aggressive. And that's from that game on, she played herself into first team All-League in a league that's pretty darn tough to become a first team player. And she's doing it efficiently. It's not like she's scoring 15 or 16 a night, taking 28 shots. She's shooting a very high percentage for us. She's passing the ball well. She's gotten better at the defensive end as well. So I'm just excited for her because I really believe she knows that she has more in her. And as she continues on with her career, she sees that, okay, she can take her game to the next level.
Coach, Chase Madison from 1011 News in Lincoln. Just going back to the connection with Amy, just kind of what is your memories of, being in Nebraska and that fan base, but then also just does it kind of feel like a full circle moment, the start of your coaching career, the end of her playing career, and now somebody that you helped assist in her senior year is coaching against you in the NCAA tournament?
Well, I'll go back. I really enjoyed my time in Lincoln. It was an eye-opening experience when we had a snowstorm in October. And the beautiful thing about the state, and if it's going to be cold, I want snow. I mean, everybody will tell you, I love snow skiing. I love to be outside. But the one thing I've always said, I spent 4 years at Nebraska, 1 year at Minnesota. And when that first snow comes, it don't leave. Like, it just does not melt. So one thing about it. So when it snowed in October, and Amy will tell you if she remembers, I was there with Paul Sandiford was the head coach. Everything is shut down because nobody was expecting it. Paul was like, well, we're still having practice. Everybody thought we were crazy. I was in my truck picking up players from their apartments, wherever they lived, and we just practiced. I love my time there. I've still got dear friends there. I was there right at towards the end of Coach Osborne's reign with football, and that was the first time I'd ever worked at a place where, you know, there was a wedding on a Saturday and it was football game. Nobody showed up for the wedding, including the bride and groom. I mean, it was like football first. But everybody loved the athletics. If you were an athlete, they absolutely loved you there. So I enjoyed it. Amy, you know, she's a great person, like I said, really understands the game. You know, as you're sitting there as a 26-year-old, I think, or 25, I'm not sure how old I was, but it was my third year in coaching. You know, you're not expecting for this day. I always say it. I've got players now that are getting married, having families, and I'm always around the same age person. They're 18 to 22, and then you see Amy and her daughter's a freshman, and I'm like, how's that possible? You know, and you just realize everything keeps on going. You kind of stay one place because everybody around me stays the same age. And now I'm seeing someone like Amy and her family, and just really excited for her, because what an opportunity to get a chance to come back and coach at your alma mater, and then to be able to do what she's done. It's not easy. There's pressure on her, and I think she's handled it extremely well.
Just with the Lincoln Journal-Star, keeping in the relationships theme, what was your relationship like with Danny Bushman-Kelly, and you know, how happy are you for her, even though it's probably bittersweet for
We're extremely glad she's gone. She was a royal pain in the ass. Nobody wanted to deal with her. What you see is all fraud. Okay, so you just wait for a few months to go by, and then you'll get the real Danny. Okay, y'all have no idea. God bless y'all. No, I mean, Danny and Amy are two competitors, so they're going to get along extremely well. And I always say this is, you know, I was fortunate when I got to Louisville. They just built a new practice facility for volleyball, men's basketball. Then we went into the old facility, so we never had to share anything, which makes things easy. You're not fighting for practice times. You're not fighting, and they're not going to have to do that either. So everybody's got their own, so it's easy to cheer for each other when you're not trying to fight to get a practice time because you got class conflicts. So with those two leading your volleyball program and women's basketball, I think you're going to see two that are going to mesh extremely well. Danny did an unbelievable job. You know, what she did for our volleyball program, the excitement that she brought in, her entire staff, the players. You know, she's going to be missed, but we're excited that Dan has decided to stay and take over the reign as our head coach, and I think he's going to do a remarkable job. And you know, in the day and the age of the transfer portal, you know, for him to be able to keep every single one of them and the recruits is pretty impressive. You know, or they've got a healthy NIL budget, whichever one of the two is. You know, you have to let guys. It's the truth anymore. But no, so we're excited. I'm excited for both. I mean, what other program do you have your women's basketball coach and your volleyball coach as grads? I mean, I don't know if there's any other program in the country that has that. So it's pretty special. And both of them had great careers and as players, and I have no doubt that it's just going to continue for both of them.
Matt Coatney, Huskers Radio Network. Jeff, I asked you about your freshman, but I want to talk about the Big O for a moment. Olivia Cochran, winding her career down now in the NCAA tournament. What has she meant to your team, your program, and how do you feel about what she is doing here down the stretch as she winds up her career?
You know, I'll talk about Olivia and Riss because both of them are fifth-year kids. They're both graduates. They both could have moved on after last year if they wanted to. And to be honest with you, it's with the COVID kids, as I like to call them, and that's the last class of that. You know, you graduate, you've done everything you're supposed to do. I told them, if you want to try something else, that's totally understandable. I mean, you're getting a free year. It's a bonus year. And, you know, O was like, well, you know, if I do that, where do I call home? You know, when I'm finished, where's the place that I go back to? And I respected her for that. And Riss said the same thing. And they both have given us so much. I mean, you've got kids as freshmen played on Final Four team, or second year. Was that sophomore year or freshman year? Whatever, 22. Second, so their sophomore year. Yeah, freshman year was in Elite Eight. Sophomore year is a Final Four. Junior year was an Elite Eight. So they're looking at 5 straight years of postseason play in the NCAA the tournament, and they've both put a lot of work in, a lot of time. They've been great with our freshmen, trying to help them understand what our culture is about and what they've got to do and try to prepare them for this game, especially with what took place last year for us. You know, it's a lot of people are excited to make the tournament, you know, and that's just not what our standard is. So last year was a tough pill to swallow when we're up 18 in the first half, I think up 12 at half, and just didn't finish things out. So they're able to explain to our freshmen the highs of the highs, and then also if you're not prepared to play for 40 minutes, how bad it can be.
Jeff, you're now at the point. At the point where, you know, you have Amy, AD's now coaching, Mikasa's coaching, I mean, Mo's coaching right there in her hometown. I mean, is there a sense of pride to see former players going into the same profession and kind of seeing them come up in the ranks?
No, it's neat to see them accomplish goals and dreams that they want to have. The coaching part is great, but also the Tia Gibbses of the world who are, you know, doing an unbelievable job in Louisville. I mean, we're not just going to hang our hat on someone becoming a basketball coach. We want them to find whatever they love and do it. The great thing about being an athlete is you do get an opportunity to graduate debt-free. So you're not worried about what's that first job going to pay me, because you're not worried about paying back a loan. And I always tell them, if you find something that you love to do, then when you go to work each day, it's not work, it's a passion. And then when it's a passion, you become great at it. And then when you're great at it, the financial side of it will take care of itself. So, sure, it's really neat to see they're out there, Casa. I mean, you've got Becky Burke, who's been doing an unbelievable job at Buffalo. We've got a list of them. That's why I hate to forget one or two of them because I'm getting older. But yeah, I mean, it's really neat to see them and cross paths with them, especially during the recruiting times in the summer.
Thank you, everyone. Coach, thank you for your time.
Thank you all.
Good luck tomorrow.
I appreciate you.